Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. You are welcome to my YouTube channel Pharmacy with Hemant. Today I am here with a new video, third part of medical terminologies. My previous video was also medical terminologies where I have described about the root word. If you have missed to watch that video, please check the link in the description given below. As I already discussed about that, the most medical term consists of three basic components, that is the prefix, the root word and the suffixes. When you combine these three terms, we get a well-defined medical term. So, in the example given above, there is one medical term, that is pericarditis, where peri is a prefix which symbolizes around, card is the root word which means heart, and itis is the suffix which means inflammation. So, combining all these three, we get a meaning that pericarditis means inflammation around the heart. So, let's enter into our main topic, that is the suffix. The suffix is the ending part of a word that modifies the meaning of the word. So, let's begin. First suffix is there, is. Whenever your medical term or word ends with the is at the ending, it means it is the enzyme. Few examples are given there, that is nuclease, lipase, amylase, ligase. These all you can see that all the words are ending with the is. Means is the suffix which represents the enzyme. Nuclease is the enzyme which is capable of breaking phosphodiesterase bond between the nucleotides of nucleic acid, that is bond formed between the ATGC pair. And another is lipase, is the enzyme which catalyzes hydrolysis of fat. It converts lipid into smaller unit, that is fatty acids, and help in the absorption of fat from our GI tract. And another is amylase. Amyl, it means starch in the Greek word, where amylase means it is the enzyme which hydrolyzes the starch into the sugar, and it is present in our saliva. Ligase, it is also known as the biological glue which is found in our body and helps in the joining of two large molecules by forming new chemical bond, which is mainly used in recombinant DNA technologies. Next suffix is algia. Whenever any word which ends with the algia at ending symbolizes the pain, it means pain. Few examples are there: fibromyalgia, neuralgia, arthralgia. So first start with fibromyalgia. Fibromyalgia is the disorder characterized by widespread musculoskeletal pain along with the fatigue, altered sleep pattern and mood issue. And next is neuralgia. Neuralgia means it is a severe pain which is caused due to the damage of nerves. One of the main cause of neuralgia might be diabetes. Next, arthralgia. Arthralgia is the pain associated with the joint. It might be initiated because of the heavy physical activities. Next suffix is blast, which represents immature. Whenever your word ends with blast, means immature. Example, leucoblast. Leucoblast means it is the immature WBC, white blood cells. Osteoblast means osteo means related with the bone. So immature bone cell are known as the osteoblast. Neuroblast. Neuro means related with the nervous system. Neuron. So immature neuron is known as the neuroblast. Next, centesis. Centesis represents the puncturing and draining or aspirating, removing any fluid from the body is known as the centesis. Two medical terms I have included there, that is amniocentesis. Amniocentesis means it is a medical procedure to withdraw amniotic fluid from the amniotic sac. Amniotic sac means where fetus stay. It is a prenatal diagnosis procedure for fetal infection as well as the chromosomal abnormalities. Another is pericardiocentesis. Pericardiocentesis means pericardio means it is the outer covering layer of heart, and the process of removing fluid from outer covering of the heart is known as pericardiocentesis. It is mainly done to identify either the infection and other several medical examinations. Here you can see picture which shows amniocentesis procedure. Next suffix is side. Side means to kill or destroy. One medical term is there, spermicide, the agent or drugs which is used to kill our sperm cell. Next medical term is germicide. The agent or substances which are used to kill the germs are known as the germicide. Germicide means you can take the example as chloroform, formalin, alcohol, etc. Next suffix is ectomy. Ectomy means surgical removal of any part. So there is one medical term, appendectomy. Removal of vermiform appendix from our body by the surgical procedure is known as appendectomy. You can see in the picture given there is vermiform appendix attached with the cecum. It get infected or inflamed. At that time, we have to surgically remove it. The procedure is known as the appendectomy. Another medical term is there, tonsilectomy. The surgical procedure to remove the tonsil from our body is known as tonsilectomy. It might be if there is any infection or if there is any abnormality related with the tonsil. In that condition, we might have removed that tonsil tonsil and known as the tonsilectomy. Another term is there thyroidectomy, where the surgical removal of thyroid is known as thyroidectomy. If there is hyperthyroidism or if there is tumor found in thyroid gland, then we need to remove that part known as the thyroidectomy. If we remove only the mid part of the thyroid gland, it is known as the esthymusectomy, and if we remove only half of thyroid gland, it is known as hemithyroidectomy, and if we remove whole thyroid gland from our body, it is known as total thyroidectomy. Another suffix is amia. Amia means presence in the blood or related with the blood. First medical term is there anemia. As I already discussed in the prefix video, that an means without, anemia means without blood. It is practically impossible, so decrease in the blood level is known as the anemia. And another medical term is there hypoglycemia. Here three words are combined to make a medical term, that is prefix, word root and suffix. Hypo means decreased or low, it is prefix. Gly means it is sugar, which is the root word, and amia means it is blood, which is the suffix. So decreased level of glucose in our blood is known as the hypoglycemia. Another medical word is there dyslipidemia. If there is an imbalance of lipid in the blood is known as the dyslipidemia. Lipid means cholesterol and triglycerides present in our blood. Another medical term hypernatremia. Increase in the level of sodium in blood is known as the hypernatremia, whereas increase in the potassium level in the blood is known as the hyperkalemia. So if decrease, there will be a hypo, and if increase of sodium, it will be hyper. Hypernatremia, hyponatremia, hyperkalemia means increase in the potassium level in blood, and hypokalemia means decrease in the potassium level in the blood. And their suffix is there genic. Genic means causing. Anything causing is known as the genic, such as carcinogenic. Any substance which is responsible to cause cancer is known as the carcinogenic, such as some radiation, some viruses, some chemicals, some gases which are responsible for the causing of cancer. Another is pathogenic. Any microbial agent or any substance which is responsible for causing disease in our body is known as the pathogenic. Another suffix is there gram. Gram means recording. You might have heard these words cardiogram, mammogram. Cardiogram, it is the record of muscle activity within the heart made by a cardiograph. By observing this cardiogram, doctor can diagnose either there is abnormality in the blood pumping in heart or not. And another medical term is there mammogram. Mammogram means it is an X-ray picture of breast for the early detection of cancer. By observing these X-ray pictures, doctor can diagnose either there is abnormality or growth of tumor in breast or not. Another suffix graph, which means instrument used to record. Cardiograph means the instrument which is used to record the cardiogram, or instrument used to record the muscle activity within the heart. And angiograph means it is the imaging test that uses X-ray to view our body blood vessels. Another is their graphy, which means process of recording. You saw that word gram means recording, graphy means instrument used to record, and graphy means process of recording. Cardiography means the process which is used to record the activity of heart, and angiography means the process of imaging test which views our blood flow in our body. And thermography means test method where infrared camera is used to detect the heat pattern and blood flow in our body tissue, and it is also used for the early diagnosis of the breast cancer. Another suffix is there globin, which means protein, where hemoglobin means the protein molecule which is bound with the iron and present in blood. Another is there myoglobin, where iron particle is combined with protein and found in the skeletal muscle tissue, and myoglobin is a major component which gives color to the muscle. You might have seen the buff or beef, where beef are dark red in color, means there is excess amount of myoglobin. It is a resource of iron for our body. Another suffix is there iatrix or iatry, which means specialty term, that is geriatrics means it is the specialty that focuses on healthcare of elderly people. Pediatrics means it is specialty that focus on the healthcare of the young children. And psychiatry means it is a medical specialty devoted to the diagnosis, prevention and treatment of the mental disorder. Another is itis, which means inflammation. Medical term arthritis, it means the inflammation of bone joint. Another term is laryngitis. Laryngitis means inflammation of larynx. Encephalitis means it is the inflammation of the encephalon which means brain. It might be because of the several viruses. Next suffix lysis, which means deterioration or destruction. Medical term is there cytolysis, which means breakdown of the cell membrane of cell, and another is oncolysis. Oncolysis means breaking down of cancerous cell or tumorous cell is known as the oncolysis. Another term is there autolysis. Autolysis means self-destruction, which means self-digestion or self-destruction of cell by their own enzyme, such as self-destruction of lysosomes by their own enzyme, that is lysosomal enzyme. It is also known as the apoptosis. Next suffix is there ology, which means science of. There is pharmacology, which is the branch of medical science, which is study of how a drug affects a biological system and how the body responds toward the drugs. And next is pathology. It is the science concerning the causes, origin and the nature of disease. Next one is oma, where oma means tumor or swelling. It means a mass. Medical term is there osteoblastoma. Osteoblastoma means presence of tumor in the bone, immature bone cell. Next one is hepatoma. Hepatoma means presence of tumor in liver is known as the hepatoma. Another one is ole, which means small or little. Example, arteriole. Arteriole means it is the branch of arteries which leads towards the capillaries. Bronchioles means it is a branch of bronchi deliver air to the tiny sacs called alveoli, where oxygen and carbon dioxide are exchanged. Next one is oocyst. Oocyst means the condition. And a term ends with oocyst, it represents the condition. That is narcosis. Narcosis means it is the condition of drowsiness or unconsciousness produced by the narcotic drugs such as opioids, cocaine, methamphetamine, amphetamine, these drugs. And next example is necrosis. Necrosis means cell or tissue death through injury or disease is known as the necrosis. Hypoxia is the main cause of necrosis. And next one is cirrhosis. Cirrhosis means irreversible damage of any tissue or death of tissue is called cirrhosis, which is irreversible. We can only limit the level of cirrhosis and cannot reverse the cirrhosis. Next one is cyanosis. Cyanosis means the bluish discoloration, especially of the skin and mucosa. It is because of the decreased level of oxygenated blood. It is of two types mainly, that is the central and peripheral. If your lips and tongue are converted to the bluish color, then it is known as the central cyanosis, and if your extremities, only your fingers and legs, are converting to the bluish color, then it is known as the peripheral cyanosis. You can see the picture of peripheral cyanosis. Next suffix is oxia, which represents the oxygen level. For example, anoxia. Anoxia means if there is a proper blood supply but there is a lack of oxygen in tissue, that condition is known as the anoxia. Whereas hypoxia means there is improper blood supply to the tissue, so there is no oxygen available in the tissue. Next suffix is pathy, which represents the disease. Example is myopathy. The disease which is related with the muscles is known as the myopathy. And another is neuropathy. If there is a destruction or damage of any nerves and the disease related with the neuron is known as the neuropathy. Next is retinopathy. The disease which is related with eye or retina is known as the retinopathy. Next suffix is there penia, which represents decreased or deficiency. For example, leukocytopenia. Decreased in the number of WBC in our blood is known as the leukopenia. And next is thrombocytopenia. Decreased in the number of platelets in blood is known as the thrombocytopenia. Next suffix is phasia, which means swallowing. Example, dysphagia. If there is a difficulty in swallowing, then the condition is known as the dysphagia. Next is hyperphagia. If we are feeling more hunger and we want more food, then that condition is known as hyperphagia. Next is phasia. Before it was phasia and this is phasia. Phasia means speech. Aphasia means it is the condition where there is a loss of speech or loss of language. It might be because of the brain disease or brain injury. Whereas dysphasia means it is also the condition of loss of language or loss of speaking capacity, but there is a partial loss of speaking capacity, not complete. Whereas in aphasia, there is complete loss of speech. Next suffix is there philia or philic, which means attraction to or loved to. Or there is a term hydrophilic. Hydrophilic means any molecule which is attracted towards the water molecule. They form the hydrogen bonding and dissolve in the water or solvent. This is known as the hydrophilic, that is water loving. Another is necrophilia. Necrophilia is one of the psychological condition in which person love to have sex with the dead bodies. And next is bibliophilia. Bibliophilia means the person who loves to read books. Another suffix is phobia, which means fear, where philia means attracted to or love and phobia means fear. And there is medical term that is arachnophobia. Arachnophobia means it is the condition where person is scared of insects having 8 legs such as a spider, scorpion, etc. And next is acrophobia. Acrophobia is the condition where person is scared of height. Next one is necrophobia. Necrophobia means intense fear of the dead bodies. And another suffix is plasty. Plasty means surgical repair, where angioplasty is there. Angioplasty means it is a procedure to restore the blood flow through the artery. You can see in the example, first one, the artery is narrowed due to the lipid present in the wall, and by doing angioplasty, blood artery is widened so that blood can pass easily through the artery. Next is rhinoplasty. Rhinoplasty means it is the surgical procedure which changes the shape of nose. You can see in the picture there, after surgery, structure of nose has been changed. Another term is there penia, which means breathing. For example, dyspnea. If there is a difficulty in breathing because of the exercise or high altitude, then the condition is known as dyspnea. Whereas hyperpenia means there will be increase in the tidal volume, but there might not be increase in the rate of respiration or rate of breathing. The condition is known as hyperpenia. It might be during the exercise or fear. Another is poiesis, which represents the formation. Medical term is there hematopoiesis. Hematopoiesis means the process of forming blood cells in our bone marrow is known as the hematopoiesis. Next one is lymphopoiesis. The process of forming WBC is known as lymphopoiesis. Next one is rrhea. Rrhea, which means flow or discharge. There is medical term amenorrhea. A means without and meno means menstrual cycle and rrhea means flow. If there is no blood flow during menstrual period, then condition is known as amenorrhea. And next medical term is there diarrhea. If there is excess flow of our feces or stool, watery stool, then the condition is known as diarrhea. Another is galactorrhea. Excess secretion of milk through the mammary gland is known as the galactorrhea. Next one is rhinorrhea, which means running nose. Having more mucus secretion through our nose is known as the rhinorrhea. Next one is scope, which means instrument used to view or visually examine, such as colonoscope. Colonoscope means it is the medical instrument which is used to examine the colon. It is a flexible tube which is attached with the camera as well as light, which is inserted through our anus to observe whole colon. And another is endoscope. As same as colonoscope, endoscope is also the instrument attached with camera as well as light, but it is inserted through our mouth towards the stomach. This instrument is used to observe our internal organs from mouth to the duodenum. Another is microscope. Microscope is the instrument which is used to examine or view the small particles such as microorganisms and the small particles. Another is telescope. Telescope means it is the instrument which is used to view or observe the things which are far from us, such as used to view some planets, to see stars, etc. And another suffix is there scopy. Scope means instrument used and scopy means process of visual examination. Before we studied about the colonoscope, and there is colonoscopy. The process of doing colonoscope is known as the colonoscopy, and the process of doing endoscope is known as the endoscopy. So another suffix is there stomy. Stomy means creating a new opening or by incision or by cutting. One medical term is there nephrostomy. Nephrostomy means there will be new opening for the urine output from our body. If there is any obstruction in our urethra or in our urinary system, then doctor can create a new opening by the surgery for the excretion of the urine. And another term is there, tracheostomy. Tracheostomy means the surgical procedure in which a small incision is made on the anterior of the neck, which you can see in the picture, and opening a direct airway through an incision in the trachea. It is done in the conditions such as anaphylaxis, burn, coma, cancer, or birth defect. Tracheostomy might be permanent as well as the temporary. And next one is colostomy. Colostomy means the opening into the colon from the outside of the body. It provides new path for waste material to leave the body after the part and the colon has been removed, might be due to the cancer, obstruction, fistula, or the ulceration. You can see the example of colostomy, how they have removed this part which is marked here, which is removed, and another stoma is connected. Stoma means any artificial tubes which is used to drain the product or excrete. Another suffix is there, stasis, which means to control or stop. For example, hemostasis. Hemostasis means it is the condition to stop the blood flow or process of forming the blood clot, blood coagulation. Another suffix is there, somnia, which represents sleep. There are, for example, hypersomnia. Hypersomnia means if you are sleeping more than 8 hours, then it is known as the hypersomnia. Or if you are sleeping at night as well as your daytime, then the condition is known as the hypersomnia. Another term is there, insomnia. Insomnia means if you can't sleep more than 3 days in a week, then the condition is known as the insomnia, difficulty in sleeping. And another term is there, dysomnia. Dysomnia means it is the change in the pattern of sleep. If there is difficulty in the sleeping pattern, then the condition is known as dysomnia. Another suffix is there, urea, which means urine. For example, glycosuria. Glycosuria means if there is presence of glucose in the urine, the condition is known as the glycosuria. This condition might be during the diabetes. Next one is hematuria. Hematuria is the condition in which blood is present in the urine. It might be because of some infections as well as the presence of stone in the renal system. Next one is anuria. Anuria means if there is absence of urine, no urine pass, then the condition is known as the anuria. Thank you for watching this video. If you feel this video was useful for you, please like and share. For my new video, please subscribe and press bell icon so that you can get notification of my new video on the time. Thank you.